pulled their and forcing the child to fall.
But for 2 hours, this child suffered.
In number 10 spot, this one's super messed up. We've got a bunch of students who got mad at the teachers, and they destroyed the school, so much so that the janitors went on strike.
Look at this side too, bro.
It's gonna get unsafe, and then we won't have any.
Over to 9, this is as wild as it gets. This teacher, he's in charge of a bunch of special ed students, and I guess for some reason it went through his mind one day that it would be fun to set up a fight club. So that's exactly what he did. He set up his very own classroom fight club where he would arrange and then referee student fights. At least 10 students were involved, and when this was figured out, this dude got into so much trouble.
Spoke to the superintendent here in Cloverdale just in the past hour. He says he is sickened by these charges. Now, these fights allegedly happened on Monday and Tuesday of last week in Federico Vargas's special education classroom. So far, the district says at least 10 students, some of them special ed students, either witnessed or participated in fights. At least one of the fights was recorded on a student's cell phone. Superintendent Jeremy Decker has seen that video.
At number 8, I think it's safe to say that a lot of students are better than their teachers when it comes to technology. So Zoom has presented some serious problems. Teachers don't know how to do certain things, and that's what happened here. This student acted like he wanted to share his homework on the screen. The teacher couldn't figure out how to set it up, and basically just gave him host privileges so that he could do things that he normally wouldn't be able to. And let's just say that was a bad idea because this happened.
Guys, you go off mute now. Look, I'm the host. No class. Teacher asked.
Wait, bro, what? Somebody gets suspended, boy. You better get. Bro, you better get suspended.
I don't know what happened. I'm back now. I can't figure it out. The internet keeps going out.
In number 7 spot, we've got a teacher who pretty much attacked a student. This isn't the body slam one, but this teacher, she went up to this 8-year-old at the elementary school that she teached at, and she's 58 years old. Keep that in mind. She's close to retirement. I don't know why she would do this, but she really had some beef with this 8-year-old because things got hot and spicy, and she grabbed this kid's ankles and pulled their feet out under from them so that they fell backwards onto their back and head.
58-year-old Deborah Wiley is now facing a battery charge. Court documents say there's an 8-minute video where a student is seen standing up against a wall when Wiley repeatedly grabbed the student's ankles and pulled their feet out from underneath them, forcing the child to fall. Court records say Wiley admitted to the incident. She's been fired from the school and she could face 6 months to 2.5 years in prison, plus up to $10,000 in fines.
Real quick, before we end the next one, make sure you leave a like on this video and also subscribe to my channel or else your teacher is going to attack you tomorrow. Moving to 6, this one involves a middle school substitute teacher. Now, I'm not exactly a teacher myself, but I'd assume that substitute teachers don't make an insane, absurd amount of money. And this woman, she wanted to make some extra cash, so she thought that the best way to do that would be to start selling the devil's lettuce to some of her students that she substituted for at this middle school. Turns out 2 of the students, after buying some, got sick and ended up snitching on her.
On Friday, Hendry County deputies arrested 35-year-old Maria Rivera Magana, a substitute teacher, after students said she sold them marijuana.
It's very concerning as a parent that has children in the school district.
Many are still in shock this even happened in the first place.
I think it's disgusting and despicable for an adult to do that, especially a teacher.
At number 5, this one's really scary. It's actually kind of chilling. This involves 2 16-year-old girls, from what I understand, at this high school. And they, for some reason, had this huge plot to go to the school and basically take people's lives. In what way? I'm not really sure. The news and investigators never really specified. However, these students, their plan was figured out or caught on a Saturday. What makes that really scary is, from what I understand, they'd actually planned to do it on the Friday previous before that Saturday. However, they got a snow day that day, so they couldn't do it and planned to do things that next following week. So to some extent, those people at that school got extremely lucky, but it's still really just terrifying to think that something could have happened.
Both are juveniles, 16 years of age, so they're not releasing their names. Both, again, attending school here at Mountain Vista High School. The school district sent this note home to parents saying the students planned to cause harm to staff and students at Mountain Vista this week. Students I talked with say they're glad the threat was discovered.
I think it's pretty crazy, like just kind of scary because you don't know what could happen, and it's like school and you're supposed to be a safe place there.
I think we got lucky, and especially with the snow day, because a lot of people thought that it was going to happen today. So I guess we got really lucky that we have like the security that we have to protect us.
And then before spot, this one is just downright disgusting. I don't understand how teachers can go and try to do things with their students, especially when they're at like a middle school or something like that, which is this kind of situation. This dude, he's been at this school for 5 years. He's like in his late 20s, from what I understand, or something like that, or early 30s. And he went and started sending some messages that he definitely should not have been sending to any students whatsoever, nonetheless, a 13-year-old student. And luckily, she came forward because after they went through his phone, all his social media messages, that kind of stuff, it turns out that there may be more students that he was doing this to.
After nearly 5 years as the avid teacher at Greco Middle School, 28-year-old James Michaud is jobless and facing 3 felony charges.
We are definitely shocked and saddened by this.
Michaud is accused of sending explicit messages to one of his students, just 13 years old.
A student who is very courageous came forward with this inappropriate interaction, and they were able to then take it to the authorities. And without that, we may not have known about these allegations.
Moving to 3, I think it's safe to say for anybody that's gone through school that you probably at one point had a teacher you maybe had a little bit of beef with or didn't like. They didn't like you. There was some stuff going on in between. You know, it's just natural to find somebody that you don't like occasionally. I mean, people hate people all the time. But sometimes things can go too far. Just like in this situation, this student, he got arrested because he was sending some text messages to his friend, threatening to basically hurt this teacher or saying that he was planning on doing it. They weren't super specific, but his friend ended up turning him in, and he ended up getting arrested for it, like I said.
Police arrested 18-year-old Joshua Zelias Sandoval Thursday. He's accused of sending a text threatening to hurt an Island Coast High School teacher.
We don't want it to progress to actual violence.
Landing this Island Coast High School student in jail. I wanted to see what Zelias Sandoval had to say about these allegations. When I went to his house today, I was told he wasn't home. When I asked for a comment, I was told no one spoke English.
Heading over to number 2, this one gets a little bit political. I'm going to try to stay as much out of the political aspect of it as possible, but these two, I guess people, the student and a teacher, got into some heavy arguments on a Zoom call during their virtual class because one of the students basically had a Trump flag in his background and the teacher told him to take it down. She threatened to kick him out of the class, and next thing you know, it was a big political thing on a bunch of news channels. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments section.
You can sit up, remove the flag, or reposition your camera within the next 15 seconds, or I'm kicking you out of class.
The teacher began to count.
2, 3, 4. I will be kicking you out of class.
She didn't make it to 10 before Tiffany's son waved goodbye and exited the virtual classroom. She doesn't blame the teacher for the uncomfortable moment that's made its way to social media.
She is a new teacher, and it's a mistake. There hasn't really been any guidance given to her as a teacher from the school.
Tiffany and her son blame the school board.
And finally, the boy inspired this video off with a kid who got body slammed by his teacher. He's only 12 years old, and he got body slammed just because he skipped somebody in the lunch line. And this teacher got mad and, like I said, body slammed him. And then it turns out the supervisor who saw this happen didn't get this kid any medical attention whatsoever. He just put him on a school bus home. Like 2 hours later, got arrested also because this boy ended up having a fractured skull.
What kind of damage occurred to that child? I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. But for 2 hours, this child suffered. And Mr. West did nothing to provide him with medical aid. Nothing.
Instead, police say West got on the bus and rode home with the child, watching him from across the street as he went inside.
Normally, the staff does not ride home with the children.
Police say they are still looking for the staff member that abused the child. West was booked into the Pinellas County Jail and has already bonded out.
That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later, though. Jabang.